Good evening, and you're watching TVS Nightline with me, Douglas Elliott. Now on to our top story. The federal government needs to use a different economic approach that respects the Malaysian Agreement 1963 or MA63 made between Peninsular Malaysia, Sarawak and Sabah. According to Chief Minister Dato' Petinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg, this is because Sarawak's economy is based on natural resources.
Sebenarnya, pembangunan perancangan ekonomi hendaklah kita asaskan kepada wilayah Sarawak, wilayah Sabah dan wilayah Semenanjung Malaysia. Disebabkan kita ini saiz yang besar dan juga struktur ekonomi kita berlainan dengan Semenanjung. Kita adalah berasas kepada sumber dan juga keunikan yang ada pada kita. Jadi approach-nya, economic approach has to be different. Jadi sebab itulah saya kata ia ada hubung kait dengan MA63 kerana MA63 mengatakan dia ada tiga wilayah. Sebabnya dululah Semenanjung Malaysia atau Persatuan Tanah Melayu, Sabah dan Sarawak. Jadi approach ekonomi kita mesti berteraskan kepada wilayah.
According to Abang Johari, the economic approach in place at the moment relies on the old approach which divides development allocation according to states. In his 12th Malaysia Plan speech, Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said that the federal government is committed in resolving issues related to MA63, including basic infrastructures, gas and electricity, digitalization and security aspects. And detailed standard operating procedures to enter Sarawak have been revealed today by the State Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry. It entails 3 main criteria for entry, namely police permit and enter Sarawak approval, a fully vaccinated status, and a negative RT-PCR or antigen test result.
Harapan saya adalah pembukaan penuh pintu untuk masuk. Tapi dengan prasyarat-prasyarat tertentu. Pada masa ini, interstate travel between Sarawak dengan Semenanjung Malaysia dan juga Sabah, kita masih lagi meletakkan halangan ataupun restriction seperti apa yang dinyatakan tadi, iaitu perlu police permit, selain daripada itu perlu swab dan selain daripada itu perlu permit to enter Sarawak, the online permit.
As such, individuals have to be fully vaccinated, and children below 17 years old who are unvaccinated must be with their fully vaccinated parents at all times. In addition, tourists also must produce a negative PCR or antigen test result within 3 days before arrival. Tourists are also encouraged to buy COVID-19 travel insurance and to monitor their own health throughout the stay. Individuals who are yet to receive vaccination are not allowed to join tourism activities. Additionally, he said the restrictions are temporary and may change depending on the COVID-19 situation.
Saya nyatakan ini sedikit demi sedikit kita akan longgarkan.
The detailed SOP on Sarawak domestic tourism can be found on the ministry's website at www.mtech.sarawak.gov.my. Meanwhile, Sarawak's Tourism Ministry will discuss matters pertaining to the exorbitant price of flight tickets with the major airline operators.
We will make sure that the operators of flights, the airlines, will be sympathetic on this and not try to look at it as a means to make as much money as possible. Yeah.
He noted that before, a one-way ticket from Kuching to Kuala Lumpur could fetch over 1,000 ringgit. Such amount would be a financial burden for those who have to commute back and forth from Peninsula to Sarawak due to personal reasons. Pursuing tertiary education have become every hopes and dreams of both parents and students. And while the unemployment rate among fresh graduates have a staggering increase, even worse after the pandemic hit, even the term corporate misfits deemed valid, and with one's blood and sweat, are these qualifications deemed irrelevant? With the recent announcement of the 12th Malaysia Plan on intensifying graduates' marketability, many jump at the opportunity to pursue the given opportunities. Charles Shamanito explains.
Thank you, Studio. Now, since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the country, industries are pushed to be resilient, and this does not exclude fresh graduates who are in dilemma, who are in dire need of making their way into the working world. Now, according to a recent report, although the direct impact of COVID-19 is limited in Malaysia, however, the economic impact has been marked with substantial job losses, with recruitment falling and is expected to continue to fall next year. Therefore, this is raising question among our graduates here. What are their thoughts on their future? Here's what they have to say.
For Grace Charles, currently on her internship, she commented that the plan has highlighted one of the most crucial problems in our education system. And in order to boost graduates' marketability, she urged the government to ensure these opportunities be given to all demographic groups.
The question I would like to ask is, how can the government achieve all of its goals, given that there's so much policies which revolves around the system? The government, in my opinion, should focus on ensuring the distribution of resources are done accordingly and adequately throughout the nation. Having to implement the policies are easy, but to ensure that it is implemented accordingly will be a big challenge for the government to partake. This is where I would say that even if the same opportunities are given to people of the same group, the outcome of each individual differs as it is subjected to one's circumstances. The development in the urban areas, I must suggest, do not correspond with the development in the rural areas, which brings us back to the question on graduates' marketability. Hence, the goal to work on a better education system may be achieved given that the policies are implemented based on circumstances of the demographic groups rather than simply to generalize the groups.
For Muhammad Faiz Arshad, a postgraduate pursuing his master's in social sciences, he also hopes that the same opportunity will be given to graduates in other fields, as he is concerned on the fate of those not in the science, technology and engineering stream.
Saya sebagai seorang pelajar tertarik dengan salah satu pelan yang dibentangkan, iaitu pelan strategik keboleh pasaran graduan 2021 sehingga 2025, di mana saya berharap dengan adanya pelan ini, masalah pengangguran di kalangan pelajar, terutamanya fresh graduate, dapat diatasi dengan jayanya. Selain itu, saya juga berasa terkilan kerana kerajaan hanya ingin mengukuhkan pendidikan sains, teknologi, kejuruteraan, matematik sahaja. Malah pendidikan lain seperti sains sosial dan kemanusiaan tidak diberikan perhatian yang sama.
Azrael Nata Helmi, also a postgraduate student, sees the initiative as a positive preparation for graduates to be ready in the working sector, as a careful planning in industries are needed due to the change impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Jadi saya lihat perkara ini merupakan sebuah perkara yang bagus dan merupakan sebuah perancangan yang teliti, kerana kita dapat lihat bagaimana di dalam era pandemik COVID-19 ini, bagaimana graduan-graduan yang telah bergraduasi di universiti awam ataupun universiti swasta yang kurang mendapat peluang pekerjaan di dalam era pandemik ini. Jadi dengan adanya perancangan yang khusus serta teliti di dalam rancangan Malaysia yang ke-12 ini, saya percaya ianya akan membantu para graduan di luar sana untuk mencari pekerjaan, seterusnya membangunkan lagi ekonomi di dalam negara Malaysia ini.
Loading and unloading operations of double-decker vessels or bandongs used primarily for transporting groceries and light cargo along the Batang Rajang River will be relocated back to the pontoon wharf at Temple Street. Sarawak Transport Minister Dato' Lee Kim Shin said the vessels had been temporarily docking and operating at the Burung Apu Cargo Wharf at Kupang Loong Road since early this year and is now ready to shift back to the pontoon wharf, which was completed on September 5th.
It is also serve as a long-term solution to the existing facility, particularly physical conditions of the pontoon, which were partially submerged before due to the wear and tear over the years, and also has passed the economic life.
Dato' Lee Kim Shin today was seen handing over the Sarawak River Board SRB Certificate of Practical Completion to Syarikat Sharper Mata, which is the project contractor. The project, totaling 862,182 ringgit and 75 cents, was funded by the Sarawak state government. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, contractors was given a 50 days extension of time to complete.
I've suggested a few improvements to be done. Improvement on the gangway, the steps, going down, and also in between the RC6 pontoon, there's a gap. But at the moment, there is only one small the crossing. So I want the whole gap in between to be covered up, so that it's safer when people won't if especially at night time when it's dark. Also the gangway, going down is that one very steep. So I resign to redesign it.
It took rescuers approximately 30 minutes to free a woman of her ordeal after being pinned to her seat following a head-on collision she was involved in along Jalan Berbuing Spau in Betong. Betong Fire and Rescue Chief Vincent Baling Yabi said the 1:46 p.m. collision involved a sedan car and a four-wheel drive vehicle.
Didapati kemalangan dua buah kenderaan, iaitu pacuan empat roda dan sebuah kereta sedan. Jadi pemandu pacuan empat roda tidak mengalami sebarang kecederaan, manakala seorang mangsa perempuan itu pemandu kereta sedan tersebut tersepit dan masih dalam keadaan sedarlah. Jadi pasukan bomba bertindak mengeluarkan mangsa tersepit tersebut menggunakan peralatan khas RTA dan lebih kurang dalam 30 minit operasi.
He added, it is believed that a woman lost control of her vehicle and veered off to the opposite lane and collided head-on with the oncoming four-wheel drive vehicle.
Fahamkan di sini dimaklumkanlah kereta jenis sedan tersebut hilang kawalan dan lalu memasuki laluan bertentangan sehingga bertumbung dengan pacuan empat roda.
The victim was extricated from the wreckage and was rushed to the Betong Hospital for further treatment.
Talent Time arahan Yasmin Ahmad merupakan karya terakhir dalam hayatnya yang telah memenangi pelbagai anugerah.
I'm sorry I can't speak. Don't be sorry you can't speak.
Sebuah pertandingan pencarian bakat mempertemukan dua hati, Melur dan Mahesh, yang berlainan agama dan bangsa, menyebabkan hubungan mereka ditentang oleh Ibu Mahesh sehari sebelum pertandingan. Adakah Melur cukup gagah untuk meneruskan persembahan ketika hatinya sengsara, mengingatkan Mahesh?
Your parents would have been very proud of you too.
It must be magic.
Segalanya akan terungkai di Talent Time. Sabtu ini, jam 9 malam, hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV.
Just one word.
The patterns on batiks are usually inspired by nature and are beautifully drawn by experts.
The title Adi Guru or Master is a title well earned and should be respected greatly, as it is not easy to gain knowledge, experience, and techniques that can later be shared with generations to come.
Join me, Arbird, as we learn more about the art of batik here on The Cloth Story.
Hai, jangan lupa saksikan di balik tabir Getaran Jiwa yang bakal menemui anda 30 September ini setiap hari Khamis jam 5.45 petang, di mana saya, Fatah Bolhanuddin, akan menceritakan kepada anda pelbagai kisah yang menarik mengenai peserta kita dan yang paling penting, elemen surprise kita. Hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV. Drama mengimbau kenangan Getaran Jiwa.
Welcome back. Now, Malaysia's daily COVID-19 cases rose again for the second day with 12,434, bringing the country's cumulative cases to 2,232,960. Sarawak State reported the most cases with 2,967, followed by Selangor with 1,362 and Johor with 1,289. Meanwhile, Penang had the highest bed occupancy rate for hospital intensive care unit with 93%, followed by Terengganu with 89% and Kelantan 85%. Sarawak, meanwhile, only recorded 69% of ICU bed occupancy.
Kuching district continues recording the highest number of infections with 759, followed by Miri with 307 and Sibu 295. Meanwhile, 26 fatalities due to COVID-19 were recorded since September 19 to 28. One cluster has emerged today, being a community cluster dubbed the Giam cluster in Kuching. One cluster has ended, dubbed the DJ cluster in Selangor, where no new infection reported in the past 28 days. There are now 115 active clusters, with 9 of the clusters recorded 89 new infections.
Only 1.7% or 207 of the 12,434 new COVID-19 cases reported as at noon today comprise individuals in categories 3, 4 and 5. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said the remaining 12,227 cases, or 98.3%, consisted of those in category 1 and category 2 with mild symptoms.
He reiterated that patients in Category 3 have pneumonia, Category 4 need oxygen supplementation, and Category 5 require respiratory aid. Of the new cases, 8 were imported involving Malaysians, while 12,426 were local transmissions involving 11,591 Malaysians and 835 foreigners. In a statement today, Hisham also said a total of 17,000 had also recovered, bringing the total number of recoveries to 2,037,099, or 91.2% of the total number of COVID-19 cases. 979 patients are being treated in the intensive care unit, or ICU, comprising 871 confirmed cases, while 108 which were suspected and under investigation. From the total, 565 patients require ventilators.
And the government are ready to implement several plans to upgrade the internet access in Sarawak, including expanding the state's 4G network. According to Minister of Communications and Multimedia Tan Sri Anwar Musa, Sarawak is currently at 80.84% 4G network coverage, which is lower than the national average of 94%.
Anwar, who is also the Member of Parliament for Ketere, said Julau was among the areas to be upgraded, as the current 4G network coverage in Julau is only at 27.34%. The minister added that the government is planning to build 47 new telecommunications towers and upgrading 38 transmitter stations in Julau, where 3 transmitter stations had already been completed. He also stated that his ministry expects the transition from 3G to 4G coverage to be completed by the end of this year. Meanwhile, Anwar requests MPs whose constituencies are experiencing telecommunications coverage issues and require tower construction to notify him so that a study for infrastructure construction can begin immediately.
And Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Parliament and Law, Datuk Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, has identified 4 key initiatives that will be implemented during his first 100 days in office. Wan Junaidi stated that the plans had already been approved by the Prime Minister, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob.
The 4 key initiatives and bills to be tabled are limiting a Prime Minister's tenure to 10 years, appointment of a 3rd Dewan Rakyat Deputy Speaker, preparing the critical bills to look into the rights of people in Sabah and Sarawak under the Malaysia Agreement 1963 or MA63, and to facilitate the processes involved in the implementation of Undi 18 and automatic voter registration. However, the minister expressed that the execution of the initiatives will not be easy, as it involves several processes including amending the existing law, carrying out studies, as well as engagement with the members of parliament and other stakeholders. Wan Junaidi also added that another priority is to come up with a bill on anti-party hopping and that the government is committed to implementing the law.
Malaysian oil palm plantations are in urgent need of foreign labour. The industry has been a shortage of 75,000 foreign workers since last year. Since the movement control order was imposed on March 18 of last year, intake of foreign workers had been frozen.
Malaysian Palm Oil Council MPOC Science, Environment and Sustainability Division Director Dr. Ruslan Abdullah said the industry is very labour dependent, especially in terms of harvesting. During the period of MCO, foreign workers who had returned to their home country were not allowed to re-enter Malaysia. Ruslan said some initiatives have been taken by companies together with the government to ease the labour shortage and to allow the entry of foreign workers.
Sarawak Pay merupakan sebuah aplikasi dompet elektronik atau e-dompet yang semakin popular kini kerana ia adalah pantas, selamat dan mudah untuk digunakan. Sarawak Pay memudahkan pembayaran tanpa perlu mengeluarkan wang tunai. E-dompet ini dijamin selamat kerana ia diselia oleh Bank Negara Malaysia. Ia bukan sahaja e-dompet pertama di Sarawak, tetapi juga e-dompet pertama yang dilaksanakan di Malaysia oleh sebuah kerajaan negeri. Penggunaan e-dompet dijangka akan menjadi pembangkit keuangan pada masa depan dari segi pengurusan wang serta transaksi yang selamat dan pantas. Inisiatif ini merupakan salah satu langkah strategik bagi memacu Sarawak ke arah ekonomi digital.
Hai semua, jangan lupa saksikan Inspirasi TVS, segmen berita yang mengetengahkan laporan berkaitan rakyat, hiburan serta topik trending.
Inspirasi TVS dan saya Melissa Francis.
Saya Harry Francis.
Saya Dewi Liana Suryasta.
Dan saya Tony Yusof.
Saya Bob Yusof akan menemani anda.
Dan saya Mahmud Ali Bashar.
Dan saya Nana Shimi.
Dan saya Anding Indrawani.
Saya Karen Libau.
Saya Azam Pit.
This NGO is actually founded to doing some green initiative. Like in Malaysia alone is 15,000 tons of food waste being produced. The role of the Black Sugar Supply is just like an eco warrior. They actually can convert the food waste, solve the food waste issue.
During MCO, we did encounter that some of the farmers they have a problem in marketing their produce. We are helping them to buy the produce and then we sell it to the other big company.
What do you get when you mix Amazon's Alexa's voice assistant with an Echo Show tablet? You give it a hefty dose of artificial intelligence integrated with Ring's home security system and let it roll around your home autonomously. You get a robot for the sake of a robot. Actually, you get Astro, Amazon's long-rumored home robot.
Now, let me show you something else we've been working on.
The device, which has digital eyes on a rotating screen mounted on wheels, is available at an introductory invite-only price of $999 and regular price of $1,449. Among other launches in its latest lineup were a smart thermostat, smart display Echo Show 15, and a new health tracking band called HaloView. The Echo Show 15 can be mounted on a wall and is powered with AZ2 Neural Edge, a processor that helps users personalize the screen. In its push to appeal to the next generation of customers, kids, the company introduced Amazon Glow, a gadget for playing games, reading or drawing while on a video call. In its partnership with Disney, it will launch an Alexa-powered voice assistant at Disney's theme park hotels, along with a paid feature that lets customers interact with Disney characters at home. The feature is expected to launch next year and will let users interact with Disney characters with the Hey Disney voice command. Amazon has launched a number of new gadgets every year, including sunglasses with voice control and an in-home drone that have not become massive sellers. Devices make up for fractions of Amazon's overall sales.
Notifications when it detects something unusual.
And visually impaired people face many hurdles in a world made for the sighted. They are often unable to work or perform day-to-day tasks. A technology developed by a French company has come up with a solution to make their lives much easier.
The electronic device uses sensors to spot an obstacle in the path of a user and gives them the information they need to go around it. The device, which mounts on top of the user cane, will send information to the users via handphones. A beep sounds in the ears of the users will warn them of the obstacle. It also allows users to scan at ground level for obstacles, but it does not stop them colliding with objects sticking out above, like, for example, the open door of a truck. According to François Biroid, co-founder of GoSense, the firm that developed the device, the big challenge was to not overload the user with information. The device is designed to work out the user's trajectory and only let them know about obstacles directly in the path. If the obstacle is ahead of them but to the right, the alarm will sound in their right ear, letting them know they need to take a detour to the left. To date, the device is being used by nearly 400 people in France, with a handful of models in use in Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, and Italy. It sells for €2,000 or $2,348, though eligible people in France have most of the costs reimbursed by local government agencies.
Bathe in sunshine all year round and washed by the Atlantic Ocean, Portugal is seen by many as the perfect spot to capture energy. From a cocktail of natural resources, sun, wind and water, from a colossal wind farm floating amid choppy ocean waves to hundreds of solar panels on the surface of a dam reservoir, Portugal is exploring ways to innovate renewable energy. Mass use of such projects may still be too pricey, but trailblazers like Portugal stand to benefit when costs ease.
Solar parks and wind turbines became part of Portugal's landscape years ago. Although around 70% of the electricity generated comes from renewables, the country still relies on imported fossil fuels for some of its power generation. As Europe braces for an energy crisis due to the global gas shortages, with power prices surging as winter approaches, nearly 20% of the population struggles to keep homes warm. Around 18 kilometers off the coast of the northern port city of Viana do Castelo, three behemoth offshore wind turbines mounted on equally gigantic yellow floating structures. The wind turbines are anchored with chains to the bottom of the Atlantic. Installing turbines in deep sea where winds blow much stronger allows to harness more energy than the conventional structures on shore.
And in Japan, former Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida won the ruling Liberal Democratic Party leadership race on Wednesday, a victory that virtually ensures he will have succeeded Yoshihide Suga as Prime Minister within days. In an acceptance speech, Kishida vowed to lead a transformed party in a general election due within weeks and continue to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, which has battered Japan's economy.
私は早速今日から全力で走り始めます。全国の党員の皆さん、そして国会議員の皆さん、ぜひ一緒に走っていただきたいと思います。
However, Kishida enjoys only moderate public support and has a bland image, and his victory could spell problems for the LDP in the election due by November 28. Kishida defeated former Defense and Foreign Minister Taro Kono, seen as an outspoken maverick, in a second-round runoff vote. Two female contenders, Sanae Takaichi and Seiko Noda, dropped out after the first round. And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. You can follow our latest news on our website at tvstv.my or follow us on our social media. Once again, I'm Douglas Elliott. Good night until then.
Okay, what's the problem?
I always go back at 10. I cannot do this anymore.
I'm traumatized from all this sexual harassment at work. I can't even sleep.
I was asked to lead this team, but why they don't trust me? Let's discuss. Join me at H Capital with Balkis every Thursday 9 p.m. at TVS Channel 122, Astro and My TV.